Hey, this is Ken Lewis. Welcome back to audioschoolonline.com. It's definitely fairly in-depth. I show you how to use a de-esser correctly. I show you what a de-esser sounds like when you're misusing it. How to do vocal compression, EQing. I show you this really cool kind of notch EQing thing that I do when I find ringy frequencies that drive me crazy. In the download of the video lesson, when you get the video lesson, you also get the entire Pro Tools session that I'm working off of. The entire lesson is, it's an hour and 20 minutes. It's my mix from start to finish, from faders down to finished mix bus, kind of pseudo mastering, every single thing. I've only got a stereo track of music, so there's not much music mixing. It's almost all vocal mixing. There's like 33, 35 tracks of vocals. You got rap vocals, stacked singing vocals in the hooks, so you have two rap verses, different guys. So there's a lot of stuff for you to contend with, a lot of stuff to work on. You get the entire Pro Tools session in the download with all the audio and everything, exactly what you're looking at now. You also get my finished final mix that I did myself using only stock Pro Tools plugins. You'll get that session as well, so you'll be able to pull that up on probably any system that you have. And then the last thing that I did was I stripped everything, all the plugins off again, and I did another mix from scratch, start to finish, using only a handful of UAD2 plugs. I picked like 8 of my favorite UAD2 plugins, kind of the real powerful utility plugins, and I used only those start to finish. And that's packaged in there as well in case you're a UAD2 user. You'll be able to kind of dissect and check that whole session out. So all of that stuff is included in the download with the video. It's a big download. Hopefully if you got a decent connection, you should be able to grab it pretty easily. So, I think anybody who's doing mixtape work right now, if you're an artist who's trying to kind of put out a few mixtapes, if you're a producer who's doing beats for a lot of people doing mixtapes, or if you're an engineer who's recording them or mixing them, you're probably going to get a lot out of this, unless you're super pro level. I see guys making huge mistakes as mix engineers when they're doing mixtape work, and you probably hear it all the time. Most mixtapes are just mixed hideously, and if maybe if you become one of the great people at doing it, you might be working nonstop. So hopefully this video can give you a lot of the tips and tricks that I do and I use. And without further ado, let's find out. All right, so let's jump right in. So basically, when you're mixing a mixtape, typically you have a stereo track of music, and then you cut vocals to that. So hopefully your music source is actually stereo. I've seen a lot of mixtapes that the stereo 2-track music track was actually a dead mono music track. Every single thing was panned into the center. And the problem with that is if all of your music is in the center and nothing is spread out in the stereo field, then you have to mix your vocals into the center as well, and your vocals are fighting with the music like mad. There's just no more space. And then the other big problem with that is if you pan any vocals against a mono music source, all of a sudden your vocals sound completely out of perspective and out of balance with your music. So the first thing that you want to do, if you can, is to make sure that your music source on your mixtape is a stereo source. If you're stuck with mono, you got to do what you got to do. The unfortunate thing, if you're stuck with mono, you're probably going to end up having to turn up your vocals louder against the music than you would if you had a stereo mix source. Because the vocals are going to have to be a little bit louder to be able to compete and to be able to be heard. So that's just the facts of life. So the other thing, you'll see I have the full session laid out here. I've already taken time to lay out the whole session the way I want it. I have another lesson on the site called Session Setup and Organization, which I highly recommend, that shows you everything that you want to do in these situations before you start a mix. So I've already gone through the entire thing. I've strip silenced all of the dead spaces, so everything that you see is actual audio. And then I've tried to group, like, this is the hook, and then here's kind of the counter hooks are all through here, and then so this is verse 1 and all the ad-libs and everything that go with it, intro, and verse 2, and then at the very top you have your stereo music track. So I've already laid out things in a very common sense way for my brain, so that when I'm working on this, I don't have to bounce around back and forth to be like, all right, well, here's the verse, but the ad-libs are way down here, and you know, I can work on one section at a time, and you know, so I may start mixing Tunde's verse here, and once I've got that locked in, I'll then redirect and I'll start mixing the hook. Once I've got the entire hook mixed, then I'll mix Khalif's verse, and then once I've got that done, then I'll start doing all of my fine-tuning, adjusting, and then at the very end, I'll do some mix bus work to make sure that, you know, basically a lot of people don't master their mixtapes, so I'll show you how to get it nice and loud, but I'll also show you how to give yourself a lot of headroom while you're mixing, which is incredibly important in order to get like a big, clean, powerful, not distorted, loud mix. All of those things are very important. The very most important thing that you can do, that almost everybody makes this mistake, is at the start of your mix, the 2-track of music, which is right here. I'm just going to label that 2-track. Is I'm going to start. Let's see if you can see it here. Okay, so here's my 2-track of music. Okay, so most people that I've seen, this is the big mistake, pay attention. Most people start their mixtape mixes with the stereo track at 0 VU. Okay, if you do this, you have left yourself absolutely no headroom to mix your vocals in. At that point, you're trying to mix your vocals to be louder than your music, which is already taking up all of the space in your mix. And then the only way to get your vocals louder than that stereo 2-track at that point is to basically distort them. So if you've ever heard a really crappy sounding mixtape with distorted vocals and all, they probably started their mix like this. So my first and biggest recommendation of all of this is take your 2-track and start it. -12 would probably be a good ballpark. This leaves yourself 12 dB of mix bus headroom. 12 dB of mix bus headroom in order to mix your vocals in. So start with your 2-track at -12 and then begin mixing in your vocals. I already know what the song sounds like. I've already listened to the rough mix of it, so I pretty much know, I have a vision in my head for what I want to go for with the full mix, and you know, and let's see how hard it is for me to get there. So I'm going to try and show you how to mix a mixtape very fast, but also very effectively. So you know, the biggest thing, especially if you're a young engineer or if you're doing a lot of mixtapes, you probably know that, you know, mixtape work is typically, you know, very low paying. They want to get in, they want to do their mixtape, they want to get out as fast as they can. You know, you're doing a 14-song mixtape, people aren't going to spend, you know, $500 a mix for a 14-song mixtape. They want to spend 20 or 30 bucks a mix. So, you know, you need to be able to balance providing the highest quality as fast as you can, and hopefully that's what I'm going to show you. So I'm going to start on Tunde's verse. As I go through this, I'm going to record the entire mix session. I'm going to edit it as little as possible. I want you to see as much of the full thing as I can. And I'll explain certain things as I go. I'm not going to explain every last little thing that I'm doing, but I'll try and tackle all of the most important things so that you see what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, and hopefully you'll get a lot out of this. So I'm going to start with Tunde's lead vocal. I'm going to set a loop so I can just have it constantly playing. See, if you zoom out here, you can see maybe I'll loop that much so that I can just work on his vocal until I get it right. Welcome to the era of pretty boy terror. Upper echelon. So the other thing I'm going to let you know is just on a technical level, sometimes the audio will cut in and out when I'm inserting and removing plugins. Sorry, it's going to happen, just so you know. Because I'm in a jet fighter with contraband in it and somebody go. So I'm going to start with compression, fairly fast attack, fairly fast release, and just kind of even it out a little bit. Because I'm in a jet fighter with contraband in it and somebody going down. Can I say it any clearer? Welcome to the era of pretty boy terror. Upper echelon, didn't anybody tell you, man, my suit's so fitted, you would think that I'm a teller, and my words so vivid, you would think I'm Norman Mailer. And then I'm gonna, he's a little bit S-y, so all the S's and T's and harsh high frequency stuff. I'm gonna put a de-esser on that and try and get rid of as much of that and just smooth out the performance. I think de-essing is one of the most important things that you can do to make vocals sound clear and not like harsh and piercing and cutting. You know, de-esser can even out a vocal really nicely, make it sound much more professional. Cause I'm in a jet fighter with contraband in it and somebody going down. Can I say it any clearer? Welcome to the era of pretty boy terror. Upper echelon, didn't anybody tell you, man, my suit's so fitted, you would think that I'm a teller, and my words so vivid, you would think. Okay, so what I'm doing with the de-esser is you can set up a de-esser 10 different ways. You just got to use your ears and see what's most effective. So I've got this set to high frequency only, which basically means you can see it react. This orange part right here, watch that only the frequencies above this white line are being affected, which is frequencies above 5K. Because I'm in a jet fighter with contraband in it and somebody going down. Can I say it any clearer? Okay, if I don't have high frequency only selected, it's going to take, every time it sees a harsh S that it wants to pull back, it's going to pull back on that S, but it's going to pull back on the entire vocal from the bass frequencies all the way up to the high frequencies. That's what this HF only means, high frequencies only. It means it's only going to react to the high frequencies when this is on. Now sometimes your de-esser sounds much smoother when you have it affecting the entire vocal. Not always. I think I'll probably end up using only high frequency on this, but let's see how it sounds if I de-ess the full signal. Because I'm in a jet fighter with contraband in it and somebody going down. Can I say it any clearer? Welcome to the era of pretty. I don't know how much you can perceive that, but it sounds to me like if you can see when this reacts, when it pulls down, it sounds like the entire vocal is moving with it. It sounds like it's being compressed up and down, and I don't want that. I just want the high frequency to be less harsh. So I'm going to put this on high frequency only and just give it a little bit of high frequency de-essing above 5K, and that seems to smooth it out nice. Because I'm in a jet fighter with contraband in it and somebody going down. Can I say it any clearer? Welcome to the era. Now I'm going to put a little bit of limiting on him. I just want to even him out a little bit more, not too much. Because I'm in a jet fighter with contraband in it and somebody going down. Can I say it any clearer? Welcome to the era of pretty boy terror. Upper echelon, didn't anybody tell you, man, my suit's so fitted, you would think that I'm a teller, and my words so vivid, you would think I'm Norman Mailer. Because I'm in a jet fighter with contraband in it and somebody going down. Can I say it any clearer? Welcome to the era of pretty boy terror. Upper echelon, didn't anybody tell you, man, my suit's so fitted, you would think that I'm a teller, and my words so vivid. Now just a little bit of EQ. I'm not sure I'll keep it or not. I'm just going to go through and see if it sounds better.
Cause I'm in a jet fighter with contraband in it and somebody going down. Can I say it any clearer? Welcome to the era of pretty boy terror. Upper echelon, didn't anybody tell you, man, my suit's so fitted, you would think that I'm a teller, and my words so vivid, you would think I'm Norman Mailer. Cause I'm in a jet fighter with contraband in it and somebody going down. Can I say it any clearer? Welcome to the era of pretty boy terror. Upper echelon, didn't anybody tell you, man, my suit's so fitted, you would think that I'm a teller, and my words.
Now I'm going to add a touch of reverb. I have a deverb set up on this. Maybe I'll put it to small hall. I think deverb comes with Pro Tools overall, especially for rap vocals. I think it really sounds great. I use it all the time.
Because I'm in a jet fighter. Cause I'm in a jet fighter with contraband in it and somebody going down. Can I say it any clearer? Welcome to the era of pretty boy terror. Upper echelon, didn't anybody tell you, man, my suit's so fitted, you would think that I'm a teller, and my words so vivid, you would think I'm Norman Mailer. Cause I'm in a jet fighter with contraband in it and somebody going down. Can I say it any clearer? Welcome to the era of pretty boy terror. Upper echelon, didn't anybody tell you, man, my suit's so fitted, you would think that I'm a teller, and my words so vivid, you would think I'm Norman Mailer.
Okay, actually, I like the EQ that I have, and I like the de-essing, but with the EQ it actually brings out a little bit too much of the S, so I'm going to put a second de-esser on. I do this all the time. Most of the time I can get away with only one. Every now and then I put two in series.
Cause I'm in a jet fighter with contraband in it and somebody going down. Can I say it any clearer? Welcome to the era of pretty boy terror. Upper echelon, didn't anybody tell you, man, my suit's so fitted, you would think that I'm a teller, and my words so vivid, you would think I'm Norman Mailer. Cause I'm in a jet fighter with contraband in it and somebody going down. Can I say it any clearer? Welcome to the era of pretty boy terror. Upper
Cool. That sounds really good to me. So now I'm gonna move on and see that he's got ad-libs, 2 ad-lib tracks directly below this. They were recorded same day, same microphone, same settings, same everything. So whenever I know that's the case, I know that if I want my ad-libs to sound exactly the same as my lead, all I have to do is copy my plugins over. So the way to do that in Pro Tools is if you hold Control, Option, then you click and drag. Now, I'm not going to copy the EQ over to the ad-lib because I typically like my ad-libs to be a little bit darker than my lead, especially with the S's. I don't like the S's in my ad-libs cutting through over the lead track. A lot of times when I'm mixing and I hear too much sibilance in a vocal, sometimes I'll mute the lead and I'll find that it's the backgrounds that are really sibilant, not the lead. So in this case, I'm not going to add the same high frequency EQ that I have on the lead. I'm not going to add it to the backgrounds, but I'm going to add the compression and the de-essing. And the reverb. But in this case, because I'm going to have my ad-libs panned left and right, typically, not always, I like to pan my reverb sends along with the direction of where they're panned. So I'm going to pan this reverb hard left, that reverb hard right, and then the other thing I'm going to do is group these 2 ad-libs so I can control them as a pair. So I'm going to highlight both tracks and then Command G is group. So I'm going to call these Hyundai Ads 1. Okay. Now they move as a pair.
Then you better land with it, cause I'm in a jet fighter with contraband in it and somebody going down. Can I say it any clearer? Welcome to the era of pretty boy terror. Upper echelon, didn't anybody tell you, man, my suit's so fitted. So
this is where you get to the point where every mix is different. Sometimes I'll have ad-libs that are virtually the same volume as the lead vocal. Sometimes I'll have ad-libs that are tucked way back. If I only have one ad-lib track, I may just keep that in the center and kind of low and out of the way, or I might pan that around. In this case, I have two ad-lib tracks that basically are support tracks doing the same thing, so I'm going to pan those out left and right. And I'm going to tuck them a little bit behind the lead, so that the lead is the main volume, but these are nice support tracks.
Then you better land with it, cause I'm in a jet fighter with contraband in it and somebody going down. Can I say it any clearer? Welcome to the era of pretty boy terror. Upper echelon, didn't anybody tell you, man, my suit's so fitted, you would think that I'm a teller, and my words so vivid, you would think I'm Norman Mailer.
Alright, here's this, I don't see nobody track. So now I'm gonna go through each other element of this verse and put it together one piece at a time, kind of very methodically, so that I know once I'm done with this verse, it's finished, it all sounds good, I can move on.
I don't see nobody.
So I'm going to set a loop just around this piece so I can see what it sounds like before and after, so I know better what to do with it.
I think I'm Norman Mailer. I don't see nobody. Call me Helen Keller.
It's almost perfect the way it is. I think it might need some de-essing.
I think I'm Norman Mailer. I don't see nobody. Call me Helen Keller. I think I'm Norman Mailer. I don't see nobody. Call me Helen Keller. I think I'm Norman.
And maybe I'll put like a radio effect on this. You know, nothing drastic, but something that kind of might set it apart a little bit. So kind of your quick and dirty radio effect. You'd filter out maybe everything for a male vocal, maybe about under 350 hertz, real steep filter, and then above that I'm going to set a really steep filter, maybe down to 5K, and then maybe I'll boost 2K significantly, and then let's see what we got.
I think I'm Norman Mailer. I don't see nobody. Call me Helen Keller. I think I'm Norman Mailer. I don't see nobody. Call me Helen Keller. I think I'm Norman Mailer. I don't see nobody. Call me Helen Keller.
I don't think this even needs compression, and compression might even it out a little bit, but I think it sits really nicely, so I'm moving on.
Sky.
Alright, this needs some organization here. I think I'm going to put this up to here.
We own the sky and every damn thing in it, so fold up your wings if you can't.
I think this is supposed to be a delay. You know, they delivered the song to me with most of the delays on, and I left those on. This one I think I accidentally removed.
On the sky and every damn thing on the sky and every damn thing in it, so fold up your wings if you can't hang with.
I'm gonna put some high cut on the delay, just so that when it repeats, it doesn't sound exactly like what it's repeating. It sounds like an effect.
On the sky and every damn thing in it, so fold up your wings.
That sounds better. Okay, moving on. We own the sky.
We own the sky and every damn.
Oh, I'm hearing something else. I think. Yeah, see this mix. What I just set up is the echo for sky. So the raw track is on a separate track. So what I did was I just took the word that I wanted to repeat, which was sky, and I copied it to its own separate track, and I'm going to set up a delay throw here. I could automate a delay just on that word to an aux, but this is a little quicker and easier. If you're tight on DSP, then you might want to automate an aux send. But since this is on a channel insert, I'm going to make sure that, and I only want to hear the effect, I'm going to make sure the mix is at 100%.
We own the sky and every damn thing in it, so fold up your wings if you can't hang. We own the sky and every damn. We own the sky and every damn thing in it, so fold up your wings if you can't hang with it. If you're in a G6, then you better land with it, cause
Okay, the other thing is this intro.
upper echelon, baby.
Okay, so all I'm going to do, that's a lead part, so I'm just going to copy the exact same settings that I had for the verse over to the intro. It's the same guy, same microphone, same setup, same everything.
Simply magnificent. Upper echelon, baby. We own the sky and every damn thing.
Yeah, maybe I'll put a touch of delay on that intro as well. I think I have my delay. Yeah, bus 5 and 6 is my delay.
And every damn. Simply magnificent. Upper echelon, baby. We own the sky and every damn thing in it.
So that's a nice kind of little.
Simply magnificent.
See how it just gives it a bit more of a buzz. I kind of like doing, especially that stuff for the intro. Sometimes I'll put like a trailing delay on verses. This song, I don't feel like I need a trailing delay. I just like having a little bit of reverb to give it a little bit of space to sit into the music where it is. I mean, this music track is like a kind of a really ambient, big, synthy track. So I think having some reverb on the vocal makes sense. If this was like a really gritty, like New York street hip hop beat, I would probably have the vocal just bone dry, no reverb, no delay, no nothing, just right in your face right there. But you always want to try and match the mood of what you're doing. So this vocal, I'm trying to sit it into the music and get it to work with the music in a way that makes sense. Hence the reverb and a little touch of brightness and a bit of the compression. And all of these things I think are helping it work with the music the way it is.
Simply magnificent. Upper echelon, baby. We own the sky and every damn thing in it. So fold up your wings if you can't hang with it. If you're in a G6, then you better land with it. Cause I'm in a jet fighter with contraband in it and somebody going down. Can I say it any clearer? Welcome to the era of pretty boy terror. Upper echelon, didn't anybody tell you? Man, my suit's so fitted, you would think that I'm a teller. And my words so vivid, you would think I'm Norman Mailer. I don't see nobody. Call me Helen Keller. Past full of pain, but my fortune teller told me soon I'll be laughing on the way to the teller. I'm just trying to cop 40 to 1,000 miles home. You gon' have to 40 to 1,000 miles home. You gon' have to 40 to 1,000 miles home. 1,000 miles home. Home. 1,000 miles home. 1,000 miles home. 1,000 miles home.
Okay, again, this was the delay that was delivered to me in the session. I think the feedback is going too far. I think the high cut needs to dial some back. The mix needed to be all the way up. Let's see if this is a bit smoother.
1,000 miles home.
See how that delay kind of just sinks into the music? It doesn't, it presents itself as more of an effect than like, oh shit, why am I hearing the same vocal twice? And a lot of that has to do with taking back some of the high frequency on your delay returns. Sometimes the delay returns with full high frequency sound great. Just use your ears, check it out, see what works for you. This is what works for me in this specific mix. So Tunde is mixed. I can move on to Khalif. I think I'll mix the verses first and then I'll mix the whole hook. So I'm going to start with Khalif's, here it is, Khalif's main verse here.
I said you was looking real special to a nigga right away. This goes out to girls easily astonished. Overseas fans who be learning my ebonics. You know I had the time of my life.
So there's kind of a running debate with people. Do you compress before you EQ? before you DS, you know, what order should this whole chain go in? Typically speaking, my thought process on it is I listen to the vocal. If the vocal sounds like it needs a lot of EQ work, I'll probably do that first. If the vocal sounds like it was recorded pretty well on a pretty decent mic, then I'll probably compress first and then shape it more with an EQ. Either way isn't right or wrong, it's just how you approach things. You've got to understand that if you EQ before you compress, then whatever you do on that EQ is going to affect your compression. So if you boost a lot of low end on your vocal, that's going to drive that compressor a lot harder, and your compressor is going to pump more, and you're going to hear the compression more. You typically don't want to hear the compression. The compression is just supposed to be there to even things out. So for this vocal, Khalif sounds like he was recorded pretty good, so I'm probably going to compress first thing. If it was super sibilant, I might put a soft de-esser on it at first before I compress. But it's sibilant. I'm definitely going to have to de-ess it, but it's not like super sibilant. So I'm going to compress it, and then I'll probably de-ess it, then I'll probably EQ it. Let's find out.
Play, never got along with them girls around the way. Play, never got along with them girls around the way. Always needed something more exotic, might I say. You was looking real special to a nigga right away. This goes out to girls easily astonished, overseas fans who be learning my ebonics. You know I had the time of my life. I'ma make it back there one day, I promise. I'm like Maverick and Top Gun. Where I go, you cannot come. Fast life, I'm at Mach 1. Keeping up's not.
Now you see where my compression is set. I'm doing a fair amount of compression, but kind of my goal with this is I want the compressor barely hitting it when he's at his softer parts, and I want the compressor pulling it back a little bit harder when he's at his louder parts. So the net result is that everything is at the same volume. The louder parts are at the same volume as the lower parts, and you can understand every single word of the entire rap start to finish without it sounding like it's jumping all over the place and without it sinking in and out of the music.
Play, never got along with them girls around the way. Always needed something more exotic, might I say. You was looking real special to a nigga right away. This goes out to
Little de-essing.
play, never got along with them girls around the way. Always needed something more exotic, might I say. You was looking real special to a nigga right away. This goes out to girls easy.
Now you want to be really careful with de-essing. The problem with de-essing is you can get yourself in trouble very quickly. If you over de-ess, the vocalist is going to sound like they're lisping, or like all of the high frequency is gone from the vocal, and you certainly don't want either of those two things to happen, especially if you're mixing a rapper. The last thing in the world you want to do as an engineer is to have some rapper behind you and you make them sound like they're lisping. You're liable to get wrapped in the head.
Play, never got along with them girls around the way. Always needed something.
Well, let me show you what over de-essing can sound like, just so you can kind of hear it.
Play, never got along with them girls around the way. Always needed something more exotic, might I say. You was looking real special to a nigga right away. This goes out to girls easily.
I'll just bypass in and out so you can see the difference in sound.
Play, never got along with them girls around the way. Always needed something more exotic, might I say. You was looking real special to a nigga right away. This goes out to girls easily astonished, overseas fans.
So I want to find some sort of balance between those two, between taking all the high frequency away and leaving all of it in.
Play, never got along with them girls around the way. Always needed something more exotic, might I say. You was looking real special to a nigga right away.
Cool, now I'm going to add a touch of EQ. Maybe I'll change up my de-esser settings after I EQ.
Play, never got along with them girls around the way. Always needed something more exotic, might I say. You was looking real special to a nigga right away. This goes out to girls easily astonished, overseas fans who be learning my ebonics. You know I had the time of my life. I'ma make it back there one day, I promise. I'm like Maverick and Top Gun.
Kind of this 3K range helps bring out some of the clarity of the words, And to me, whenever I'm mixing vocals, the very most important thing is that you can understand every single word that they say. Because that's the only way you're going to get the song to stick with the listener, is if they can absorb the lyric and understand it.
Play, never got along with them girls around the way. Always needed something more exotic, might I say. You was looking real special to a nigga right away. This goes out to girls easily astonished, overseas fans who be learning my Ebonics.
Not doing much, just adding a little bit of presence to it. Sounded pretty good. I'm going to add a touch of reverb.
Play, never got along with them girls around the way. Always needed something more exotic, might I say. You was looking real special to a nigga right away. This goes out to girls easily astonished, overseas fans who be learning.
Now, he's got a bunch of ad-libs. So I'm going to treat the ad-libs just like the leads for now. The first 4 ad-libs are all basically like counter lead vocals and support vocals, so I know they copying the same plugins to the same sounds will work perfectly. Again, with ad-libs, I'm going to pan the reverbs the way I pan the ad-libs. Then I'm also going to group my pairs of ad-libs. I know these two go together, so I'm going to group these. And then these two go together, so I'm going to group these.
Let it play, never got along with them girls around the way. Always needed something more exotic, might I say. You was looking real special to a nigga right away. This goes out to girls easily astonished, overseas fans who be learning my Ebonics. You know I had the time of my life. I'ma make it back there one day, I promise. I'm like Maverick and Top Gun. Where I go, you cannot come. Fast life, I'm at Mach 1. Keeping up's not an option. Don't go there, you ain't hot, son. In private jets, I'm Lear Jordan. Model chicks, all they do is party.
And he's got like a start-off vocal. I guess he cut 2 tracks of lead vocal, so I'm just going to copy my settings from my main lead vocal track to my second one.
No wheel off, something dark tinted, and I'm feeling so fly and a cute infinite, but I don't take off, girl, and time is not real, but I'm loving every minute, and I'm behind the wheel off, something dark tinted, and I'm feeling so fly and a cute infinite, but I don't take off, girl, unless you in it. Peekaboo, high heels, Valentino, bit. Time is not real, but I'm loving every minute, and I'm behind the wheel off.
So I like this part, but I think it would be cool if it's like, time is not real, real, real. So I'm going to try and put a trailing delay. Yeah, I think 5 and 6 is a pretty good aux for this kind of stuff. I'm going to change the setting a little bit. All right, let's see where this gets us.
Time is not real, but I'm loving every minute, and I'm behind the wheel. Feeling so fly. I don't take off, girl, unless you in it.
Nice. Now I'm going to copy that setting to the other side and then pan the aux send to the same side that that's panned to. Sometimes, I mean, you can keep it the aux send in the middle. It's not an issue. I personally like the way it sounds better in this case. Like this, so check it out.
Time is not real, but I'm loving every minute, and I'm behind the wheel of something dark tinted, and I'm feeling so fly and a cute infinite, but I don't take off, girl, unless you in it. Peekaboo, high heels, Valentino, bit. Time is not real, but I'm loving every minute, and I'm behind the wheel of something dark tinted, and I'm feeling so fly and a cute infinite, but I don't take off, girl, unless you in it. Peekaboo.
Cool, this is all sounding good to me, so now I'm going to start digging through the ad-libs.
go with it. Your flute game had me high, I admit it. Got me blowing notes with big face, go with it. Your flute game had me high, I admit it. Got me blowing notes with big face, go with it. Your flute game had me high, I admit it. Got me blowing notes with big face, go. Once again, it's the best rhymers in the sky.
Okay, this is more like a lead, but it's on an ad-lib track. So I'm going to copy everything. I'm going to duplicate this entire track, and then I'm going to just take this lead part and make it a lead only. So the way to duplicate a track, highlight it, hold down Control, click, hold, duplicate. See, it duplicates everything, so I'm going to delete this off the source. And so now I've separated what's an ad-lib from what's a lead. And then I'm going to put this lead next to the other leads. And then I'm going to copy my lead settings to this setting. See how this is? It can go very quickly. It's not like you have to EQ all of these individually one at a time from scratch at all. Hopefully that will translate perfectly. Let's find out.
City under them. She only here cause her body is a wonderland. When I'm done with them, drop them off, wake up wondering. Once again, it's the best rhymers in the sky like stealth bombers. Rap terrorists hijack the flow, but I ain't going out like that just to blow. You don't need radar to see that I glow. 20,000 know when I'm at the show. Another party in the Mile High Club. Let's get high and just...
Cool. All right, back to ad-libs.
Life, honest. I'ma make it. In private jets, I'm Laird Jordan. Model chicks, all they do is party. Why they so surprised when they see the sun? Jordan. Model chicks, all they do is party. Why they so surprised when they see the sun? Jordan. Model chicks, all they do is party. Why they...
Okay, that sounds pretty good. I'm just gonna hit it with a limiter a little bit, just to even it out, just a touch.
Jordan. Tongue out. Model chicks, all they do is party. Strung out. Why they so surprised when they see the sun? Jordan. Tongue out. Model chicks, all they do is party. Strung out. Why they so surprised when they see the sun? Jordan. Tongue out. Model chicks, all they do is party. Strung out. Why they so surprised when they see the sun? Jordan. Jordan. Hot sun. In private jets, I'm Laird Jordan. Tongue out. Model chicks, all they do is party. Strung out. Why they so...
Nice. Moving on.
Lick it in. When the sun set, it get dark, we could get it in. Let it play.
I think I'll maybe put an amp on this. 11 free. I'm pretty sure this is a free plugin. I don't know if it comes packaged with all your Pro Tools systems, but I think you can download it free.
When the sun set, it get... When the sun set, it get dark, we could get it in. Let it play.
And there's your Kanye vocal sound, or something very similar. I'm going to go for something much less drastic. So I'm going to set a tighter loop on the get it in, and I'm just going to scroll through amps until I find something I like.
Get it in, lick 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 it in. Again, when the sun set, it get dark, we could get it in. Let it play, never got again. When the sun set, it get dark, we could get it in.
Okay, that's nice, but it's too dry for me. I'm just going to add a touch of delay. Air dynamic delay, maybe air multi-delay. You know, I'm just going to use the aux. I'm just going to use the aux 5 and 6, this delay sound.
When the sun set, it get dark, we could get it in. Let it play, never got again. When the sun set, it get dark, we could get it in. Let it play, never got along with them girls around the world.
I'm going to add a touch of reverb too, just the same one that I have on the lead vocal.
Again, when the sun set, it get dark, we could get it in. Let it play, never got along with When the sun set, it get dark, we could get it in. Let it play. Never got along with them girls around the way. Always needed something.
Next ad lib, this Top Gun thing.
African Top Gun, where I go, you cannot come. Fast life, I'm at Mach 1. Keeping up's not an option. African Top Gun, where I go, you cannot come. Fast life, I'm at Mach 1. Keeping up's.
Now this is a really cool effect that the Upper Echelon guys actually did before they sent me the mix. This is the Digidesign Air Fuzz Wah plugin. Really cool what they did.
African Top Gun, where I go, you cannot come. Fast life, I'm at Mach 1. Keeping up's not an option. African Top Gun, Top Gun, not come. Mach 1, Top Gun.
Kind of cool. Okay, moving on. We got.
My love. Get high off of life, please try my drug. Goodbye, my love. I get high off of life, please try my drugs. I'm so high, you can't buy my buzz. Goodbye, my love.
Both of these two sound like leads to me, so I'm going to try and put them on lead tracks, or at least copy all the lead settings over. Let me find out. I've got like 3 lead tracks going right now, so I can probably just move them to... let's see if this works, because these are all 3 lead tracks.
Close, same place, Lady Gaga does. I get high off of life, please try my drugs. I'm so high, you can't buy my buzz. Goodbye, my love.
Yeah, don't overcomplicate things. Doesn't have to be any harder than it needs to be. I think this, yep, here's the last piece.
Buzz. Goodbye, my love.
I think this is a delay throw. Yeah, alright.
Buzz, goodbye, my love. Buzz, goodbye, my love. Buzz, goodbye, my love. Buzz, goodbye, my love. Buzz, goodbye, my love.
Just a little extra something on the end of that so it goes into the chorus smoother. So I think Khalif is pretty much done.
Time is not real, but I'm loving every minute. And I'm behind the wheel of something dark tinted. And I'm feeling so fly in a cute infinite. But I don't take off, girl, unless you in it. Peekaboo, high heels, Valentino vintage. Brown and cream Birkin just to go with it. Your flute game had me high, I admit it. Got me blowing notes with big faces in it. It's Upper East Side lifestyle that I'm dipping in. Russian tea room on Lake Park or Meridian. Champagne in Central Park, I'm a kid again. When the sun set, it get dark, we could get it in. Let it play. Never got along with them girls around the way. Always needed something more exotic, might I say. You was looking real special to a nigga right away. This goes out to girls easily astonished. Overseas fans who be learning my ebonics. You know I had the time of my life. Honest, I'ma make it back there one day, I promise. I'm like Maverick and Top Gun. Where I go, you cannot come. Fast life, I'm at Mach 1. Keeping up's not an option. Don't go there, you ain't hot, son. In private jets, I'm Lear Jordan. Tongue out. Model chicks, all they do is party. Strung out. Why they so surprised when they see the sun come out and they open their eyes and they see the city under them? She only here cause her body is a wonderland. When I'm done with them, drop them off, wake up wondering. Once again, it's the best.
Haha, see, this is why you listen through. I totally forgot this piece right here. I don't even know what it is yet. See, my fader's down.
Girl, how we gonna get home? Once again. Girl, how we gonna get home? Once again. Girl, how we gonna get home? Once again. Girl, how...
I'll probably just copy this maximum setting from the other and then adjust it.
Girl, how we gonna get home? Once again. Girl, how we gonna get home? Once again. Girl, how we gonna get home? Once again. Girl, how we gonna get home? Once.
It's important to always go through and make sure that you haven't missed anything, because clearly even I can miss stuff.
Drop them off, wake up wondering. Girl, how we gonna get home? Once again, it's the best rhymers in the sky like stealth bombers. Rap terrorists hijack the flow, but I ain't going out like that just to blow. You don't need radar to see that I glow. 20,000 know when I'm at the show. Another party in the Mile High Club. Let's get high and just wild out love. She said, boy, it ain't your money, it's your style I love. Girl, that's what the Louis and the Prada does. On the red carpet, I make your eyes just bug. Up on my clothes, same place Lady Gaga does. I get high off of life, please try my drugs. I'm so high, you can't buy my buzz. Goodbye, my love.
Nice. 2 verses down, onto the hook. So we have the incomparable Mandy Ventris singing the hook. She is absolutely fantastic, one of my favorite session singers, and an artist in her own right, brilliant artist. Yeah, check her out at mandyventris.com. So I'm going to dig in on, so we have, basically you can see she stacked the hook for me. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 tracks of the lead part. I'm going to put those all next to each other. And I'm going to put the leads on top. I always kind of like a top-down approach. So my most important tracks are here, followed by that. And then we have 3 tracks of low harmonies, and then 2 tracks of these softer high harmonies, which I'm going to make really bright and thin and just kind of sit right on top. And then we have more harmonies. I think these are counter harmonies. And then these are all the upper echelon guys, Khalif and Tunde, doing their chorus parts. And you can also see that basically what they did was they recorded the entire chorus one time in one place, and then they copied the entire thing and moved it to here. So this brings up something that I probably should have mentioned at the very top of the lesson. So let's rewind to the top of the lesson. Setting tempo. I'm not going to show you how to do it in this lesson. I show you in other lessons on the site. Find the tempo of your session. It will make life so much easier in so many ways. I cannot stress this enough. The tempo on this is 100. Find the tempo of your session. If you find and lock in the tempo of your session exactly, then copying a chorus from here and pasting it to here is a very 2-second operation. If you are not locked to tempo, it'll take you a half an hour to line that up correctly, and then even then you're just guessing. So find the tempo of your session first thing off. So all right, I'm going to dig into Mandy's hook lead vocals and start there and work my way down. Okay, Mandy's mic is really mid-rangey. So the first thing I'm going to do is add some EQ, dial out some of the mids, and brighten up the presence on it a little bit.
So amazing, it feels like my feet just left the ground. I can't believe it, my head is somewhere up in the clouds. What is this feeling? I've never been taking this high. So amazing, it feels like my feet just left the ground. I can't believe it, my head is somewhere up in the clouds.
Now there's these like really ringy frequencies going on in the mid-range that are just driving me nuts. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and isolate and really pinpoint those frequencies and just pull and just notch them out. So I'm just going to make tiny little cuts in certain specific frequencies in the mid-range in order to give me more control over the rest of it. So I'm going to find a spot on her performance that really is sharp, and then hone in on that, and then try and dial those frequencies out.
So amazing, it feels like my feet just left the ground. I can't believe it, my head is somewhere up in the clouds. Somewhere up, where up, where up, where up, where up, somewhere up, where up, where up, where up, where up, where up.
Now, it may not avail itself to you yet, but see if you can hear what I'm hearing. There's this like really piercing mid-ranging thing that I'm hearing.
Where up, 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 where up.
Right there, 2.19 kilohertz. So what I did was I set a really high Q, which is a really narrow notch, and then I swept kind of the mid-range frequencies where I thought it was going to be. I do this a lot, so I'm a good guesser. and I found it right about 2.19 kilohertz, and then I'm just going to dial this out fairly significantly. Hopefully you can hear what I did. This is going to give me more flexibility in making other mid-range frequencies more prominent. If I don't dial out the stuff that I'm finding really offensive, then I can't kind of sculpt the whole rest of the mid-range, and I'm just taking little notches out.
Just left the ground, I can't believe it. My head is somewhere up in the clouds. What is this feeling? I've never been taking this high before. Taking this high. I've never been.
Here's another frequency on right on the word bin. It's just above the other one, but I've got such tight notches set that the other notch actually didn't grab it. So I'm actually making two cuts right next to each other. But it's getting me what I want, so that's working. Now I'm going to add some compression, and I'll probably add more EQ and de-essing later. I don't even know if it needs a de-esser at this point. How about a compressor and not an EQ, Ken? There we go. So again, with this vocal, I'm trying to find a balance in the compression that doesn't clamp down too hard on the stuff that is supposed to be over the top loud explosive, but evens out the softer parts as well. This is, I think I've struck a pretty good balance here so far.
Amazing, it feels like my feet just left the ground. I can't believe it. My head is somewhere up in the clouds. What is this feeling?
Okay, so now there's 4 vocals that do this exact same thing. So I'm gonna go through and
Amazing, it feels like my feet just left the ground. I can't believe it. My head is somewhere up in.
I'm compensating volume on the plug-in as opposed, like, I don't like pushing my faders up above zeros. I will if I have to, but I try not to. So okay, I'm going to copy all of these settings to all of the other Mandy vocals.
Amazing, it feels like my feet just left the ground.
And then I'm going to group all of these. And then for this, I think I'm probably going to pan the main vocal just out a little bit, and then the double tracks that go along with it I'm going to pan out way far. So you're going to have this kind of nice spread on the whole lead vocal and the hook.
Amazing, it feels like my feet just left the ground. I can't believe it. My head is somewhere up in the clouds. What is this feeling? I've never.
Nice. Now we definitely need some effect. I'm going to start with a touch of reverb.
Amazing, it feels like my feet just left the ground. I can't believe. Amazing, it feels like my feet just left the ground. I can't believe it. My head is somewhere up in the clouds. What is this feeling? I've never been.
I think I want some delay in this too.
Amazing, it feels like my feet just left the ground. I can't believe it, my head is somewhere up in.
When you listen to delays soloed, they always sound much more prominent than they're going to sound when you put the entire music in, because the music is going to swallow up a lot of the perceived amount of delay that you have. So when I'm listening in solo, it's going to sound like I have more delay than I need. When I put it back in the full mix, the delays are probably going to sit much better.
Amazing, it feels like my feet just left the ground. Amazing, it feels like my feet just left the ground. I can't believe it, my head is somewhere up in the clouds. What is this feeling? I've never been taking this high before. Oh, nah, nah,
Alright, we're cooking with gas right now. So I think those sound pretty good. I'm going to start on the low.
it's so amazing, it feels like my feet just. I can't believe it, my head is somewhere up.
I'm going to see if I can get away with copying the initial settings from the lead over.
It's so amazing, it feels like my feet just left the ground. I can't believe it.
Overall, it sounds good. I think it sounds a little too bassy with her singing in the lower register, so I'm going to dial out a little bit of low frequency.
It's so amazing, it feels like my feet just left the ground. I can't believe it, my head is somewhere up in the clouds. What is this feeling? I've never been taking this high.
Now that looks like I'm doing something incredibly drastic to the low end, but really, I'm not affecting it very much at all, if you can hear.
It's so amazing, it feels like my feet just left the ground. I can't believe it, my head is somewhere up in the clouds.
Now, do you hear how much tighter the vocal sounds when I pull some of that bass out? It focuses your ear on more of the mid-range of the vocal, which brings out more of the kind of clarity and enunciation of it. You don't want to thin out your vocals too much, but this vocal has too much bass, so I need to get rid of some.
It's so amazing, it feels like my feet just left the ground. I can't believe it, my head is somewhere up in the clouds. What is this feeling? I've never been taking this high before.
Nice. I'm just going to copy all these. Add a touch of reverb. So they gave me 3 of these low parts to work with, so I'm going to keep one in the center and pan the other 2 off to the side. I'm going to group all 3 so I can control them as one unit.
It's so amazing, it feels like my feet just left the ground. I can't believe it, my head is somewhere up in the clouds. What is this feeling? I've never been taking this high before. It's so amazing, it feels like my feet just left the ground. I can't believe it.
Now, you hear when you're only listening to the lows in the mix, you don't hear them very much at all, but when you add them to the mains, all of a sudden your vocal sound gets so much bigger.
It's so amazing, it feels like my feet just left the ground. I can't believe it, my head is somewhere up in the clouds. What is this feeling? I've never felt.
Nice. Of course, it doesn't hurt that Mandy sings in really good tune and her voice blends with itself really well. So she gave me 2 more of these tracks of kind of soft, high, breathy vocals.
It's so amazing, it feels like my feet just left the ground. I can't believe it.
Okay, so she sings the same note as what the lead is singing, but she sings it much breathier. And what I want to do with this layer is I want to add a ton of high end, so it just kind of sits as a color on top of the vocal blend and just makes the vocal blend like sparkle a little bit. You'll see what I'm talking about when I'm done. This I have to be really careful with de-essing to make sure that I knock back all of those S's, because I'm going to really brighten up the vocal. And when you brighten up a vocal, inevitably you're going to bring out the S's.
It's so amazing, it feels like my feet just left the ground. I can't believe it, my head is somewhere up in the clouds. What is this feeling? I've never been taken this high before. It's so amazing, it feels like my feet just left the ground. I can't believe it, my head is somewhere up in the clouds. What is It's so amazing, it feels like my feet just left the ground. I can't believe it, my head is somewhere up in the clouds. What is this feeling?
Now, the de-essing that I was talking about to knock those really sharp S's that are coming out because I'm adding so much EQ to the top end.
It's so amazing, it feels like my feet just left the ground. I can't believe it, my head is somewhere up in the clouds. What is this feeling? I've never been
Now, I was talking earlier about making sure that you don't make a vocal too lispy, but in this case, I actually don't want to hear these S's. This is not a lead vocal, and it's not important that these S's cut through in a clear, concise way. This is a part of a layer, and the rest of the layer already gives me plenty enough S. So what I want this track to do is I want it to frequency-wise sit kind of like, here's the main hook vocal, here's the low frequency, like warming that up and making it sound fuller, and I want this frequency-wise to sit above all of those things and just add a touch of little sparkle to it. So I don't want those S's on this track cutting, so I'll de-ess them more than I might have otherwise.
It's so amazing, it feels like my feet just left the It's so amazing, it feels like my feet just left the ground. I can't believe it, my head is somewhere up in the clouds. What is this feeling? I've never been taken this high before. It's
So see if you can hear the kind of the difference in sparkle and presence when I'm muting and unmuting these tracks, and how the whole thing just kind of jumps out a little bit more at you in a really subtle but powerful way.
It's so amazing, it feels like my feet just left the ground. I can't believe it, my head is somewhere up in the clouds. What is this feeling? I've never been taken this high before.
Nice, my hook sounds great. And start working on the counters. I think this is a counter.
Oh na na, what's my name? 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 Oh na na, what's my name?
All right, now I'm going to add the upper echelon stuff into it. We'll start with maybe this one.
Oh, na, na. Oh, na, na.
Upper echelon, baby.
Oh, na, na.
Upper echelon, baby. Upper echelon, baby. Upper echelon, baby.
Pretty sure that's Khalif, so I'm just going to copy my lead settings from Khalif over to this. See if that works. And if it doesn't, I'll tweak from there.
Upper echelon, baby. Upper echelon, baby. Upper echelon, baby.
Oh, na, na.
Upper echelon, baby.
Oh, na, na.
Upper echelon, baby.
Oh, na, na.
Sounds pretty good to me. Now he has these delay tracks that he gave me. I'm going to group these as well. Come on now. There we go. All right, let me group these two.
Upper echelon, baby.
Oh, na, na.
On baby. Upper echelon, baby. Baby. Upper echelon, baby.
Oh, na, na.
Upper echelon, baby. Upper echelon, baby.
Oh, na, na.
All right, moving on.
Upper echelon, baby. Upper echelon.
Okay, this is like just like a DJ effect. Kind of cool.
Upper echelon. Upper echelon. Upper echelon. Upper echelon.
I'm gonna filter it a little bit too. Maybe take some of that low end out.
Upper echelon. Upper echelon. Upper echelon. Upper echelon, baby. Upper echelon, baby. Upper echelon.
Okay, that's kind of cool. All right, next, what are these?
Sky and everything. We own the sky and everything. We.
All right, this is a Tunde vocal, so I'm gonna see if I can. I'm gonna move these up next to the Tunde vocals just so I can work with them. Then I'll move them back. But it's like a Tunde lead, so I'm gonna copy the plugins off the Tunde lead and see if it works. I'll group these two. All right, let's see how I did.
We own the sky and everything.
Oh, na, na.
We own the sky and everything.
Oh, na.
We own the sky and everything.
I think I just need to de-ess it a touch more.
We own the sky and everything.
Oh, na, na.
We own the sky and everything. We own the sky and everything.
Oh, na, na.
We own the sky and everything in it.
Oh, na, na.
We own the sky and everything in it.
Oh, nah, nah, let's go.
We own the sky and everything in it.
Oh, nah, nah, let's go.
Upper echelon, baby.
Oh, nah, nah, let's go.
We own the sky and everything in it.
Oh, nah, nah, let's go.
Upper echelon, baby.
Oh, nah, nah, let's go.
We own the sky and everything in it.
Time is not real, but I'm loving every minute.
Upper echelon, upper echelon, upper echelon. How fly is that? How fly is that? How fly is?
Just gotta tame this a little bit. This is really SE, so I'm gonna DS this first.
How fly is that? 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 How fly is that?
And he's just shouting, so I'm just gonna limit this a little bit and just hold it right in one place.
How fly is that? 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 Upper echelon, baby.
Oh, nah, nah,
How fly is that? We own the sky and everything in it.
Time is not real.
How fly is that? Upper echelon, baby.
oh, nah, nah.
How fly is that? We own the sky and everything in it. In it, 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 in it. And everything in it.
Time is not real, but
And everything in it.
time is not real, but I'm
Upper echelon, baby.
Oh, nah, nah.
How fly is that? We own the sky and everything in it.
time is not real, but I'm
So I think I'm done mixing the hook. Now I'm just gonna listen to the hook start to finish and make sure I didn't miss anything, make sure the hook is balanced the way I want it to be balanced. You know, doing everything that I can hear that the guys are balanced with Mandy, everything is balanced to the music, it sounds like a record.
1,000 miles home.
It's so amazing. It feels like my feet just left the ground. I can't believe it. My head is somewhere up in the clouds. What is this feeling? I've never been taken this high before.
We own the sky and everything in it.
Oh, nah, nah. Let's go.
Upper echelon, baby.
Oh, nah, nah. Let's go.
We own the sky and everything in it.
Oh, nah, nah. Let's go.
How fly is that? Upper echelon, baby.
Oh, nah, nah.
How fly is that? We own the sky and everything in it.
time is not real, but I'm loving every minute. And I'm behind the wheel of something dark tinted, and I'm feeling so fly in a cute infinite. But I don't take off, girl, unless you in it. Peekaboo, high heels, Valentino vintage, brown and cream Birkin just to go with it. Your flute game had me high, I admit it. Got me blowing notes with big faces in it. It's Upper East Side lifestyle that I'm dipping in. Russian tea room on Lake Park or Meridian. Champagne in Central Park, I'm a kid again. When the sun set, it get dark, we could get it in. Let it play. Never got along with them girls around the way. Always needed something more exotic, might I say. You was looking.
Okay, so my mix is done. Now I'm gonna do some mix bus work on it, kind of pseudo mastering. You know, if your project is really important to you, have a pro master it. That's expensive. If you're gonna do it yourself, let me show you some tricks. So this mix bus sounds fine to me. I'm not gonna do any actual EQ across the mix bus, but if I did, you know, I'd put an equalizer across it. I may start my mix with an EQ. I didn't do that this time. So I'm just gonna try and add some compression, basically to bring up the overall volume and then, you know, just make it sit nice and loud without being too over loud, too compressed. You know, well, let me just dig in and I'll show you. So I should also note that I'm using only Digi plugins that come with the, you know, like the stock LE or SE or whatever the new Pro Tools are now. I would never use Maxim on a mix bus ever in the history of ever if I was mixing a record that somebody was paying me to mix. I'm only using it to show you that you can actually get pretty darn decent results using only stock plugins. I've only used stock Pro Tools plugins on this whole thing. It's possible, you can do it, takes a little bit more work. There are much better plugins, especially for Mixbus. But, you know, this works, and I'll show you how to do it. I'm going to set my Mixbus ceiling at minus 0.1 so that I don't distort anything, give myself just a little bit of headroom. The release is at 1 millisecond. I'm going to keep that at 1 millisecond, very, very, very fast. And then I'm just going to pull the threshold down until I start getting a bit of compression. And getting it nice and loud.
I just bug up on my clothes, same place Lady Gaga does. I get high off of life, please try my drugs. I'm so high you can't buy my buzz. Goodbye my love.
It's so amazing, it feels like my feet just left the ground. I can't believe it, my head is somewhere up in the clouds. What is this feeling? I've never been taking this high before.
We own the sky and everything in it.
Oh, nah, nah.
Upper echelon, baby.
Oh, nah, nah.
We own the sky and everything in it.
Oh, nah, nah.
How fly is that? Upper echelon, baby.
Oh, nah, nah.
How fly is that? We own the sky and everything in it.
All right, so just so you can see what I'm doing, I'm going to put one. Let's see if Pro Tools has one. I'm going to put one non-Pro Tools plugin on just for a second, just so I can see what my RMS values are. A typical, so I'm going to use Slate Digital FGX just for a second, but I'm not going to keep it on. I like this plugin because it shows me the RMS and the peak values of what I'm looking at. And I basically want to see I want to see my RMS floating around -9, -10 is about mastered level. If you listen to most of the records in your record collection, the RMS is going to hover around -9, -10. The peaks are going to be up to 0.
I just bug up on my clothes, same place Lady Gaga does. I get high off of life, please try my drugs. I'm so high you can't buy my buzz. Goodbye my love.
It's so amazing, it feels like my feet just left the ground. I can't believe it.
Perfect. So my RMS values are mostly around -9s. You know, sometimes -10s. Every now and then they creep up to -8s. That's fine. Doesn't have to be a steadfast rule. What you don't want, at least in my opinion, is where, and so many guys do this, louder is not better. Louder starts making your mix sound smaller and more distorted and nasty, and, you know, cool, but man, your kicks don't hit as hard, your drums don't hit as hard, everything is just more in your face the louder it gets. And so right now I'm at -11 on my threshold. Let me just pull it. This is going to get loud, so watch your speakers.
I just bug up on my clothes, same place Lady Gaga does. I get high off of life, please try my drugs. I'm so high you can't buy my buzz. Goodbye my love.
It's so amazing, it feels like my feet just left the ground.
Do you hear how distorted that is already? Just 4 more dB of compression, and all of a sudden everything is just starting to distort and pump like mad, and it just sounds like crap. So don't do it. Find yourself a good RMS meter and max out the volume of your stereo bus around -9 RMS with your peaks at 0. Not hard to do. Doesn't take long. And so I'm going to remove this slate. Okay, so that's it. I've got everything mixed, balanced, start to finish. Hopefully, you know, you can do your own mix and compare it, and hopefully you'll learn a lot. So it's been Ken Lewis, audioschoolonline.com. Until the next time, take care.